Right, so in the second video, in this video, we're going to be getting into the recalibration station. However, in the previous video, I neglected one tiny piece of information. Much like your high-end gear sets or your high-end brand sets, your gear sets, so your green pieces, they work the same way with their 2-piece, 3-piece, and 4-piece bonuses. The only thing is your 4-piece gives you a talent addition. That's all I wanted to mention. We'll get into the talents and stuff in the gear building part of the episode, or the gear building part of next video. For now, let's get into the recalibration station. Now, the recalibration station, when you open it, you will be met with 4 different tabs. Let's start with the Recalibration Library. Now here, this is where all your gear goes that you do not want, but that might have a full roll on it, so a full bar in the attributes department. So core attribute or normal attribute or your basic attribute you'll see these little arrows. Now, when you pick up a gear piece, you can look at these arrows. As you can see, my arrows are orange and all the way full. The arrow dictates what role you have in your recalibration station. So if you have a white arrow that's halfway through and your bar is over your white arrow, that simply means you can extract that role and your white arrow will move up to where that bar was. If your arrow is full like mine, that means in the recalibration station you have a full roll. Now, to note, if you put something into your recalibration station, for instance, I have this pistol, there's the white arrow I was talking about, the bars past it, you can hold X and throw this in. It will destroy this weapon. So it saves the roll, that specific roll, but poof, the weapon's gone. So just keep that in mind when you are throwing things in your recalibration station. Don't accidentally throw in a piece of gear that you really want. I would recommend marking it as favorite. Marking as favorite simply means going on to it. As you can see, this one is marked as favorite. It's R to unmark, or just hit R to mark and then say as favorite. If you mark a gear as favorite, you can't scrap it, you can't sell it. It's just there until you unmark it. So it's a good thing to do. The second tab is your recalibration station. So you took all your attributes, you threw it into the library. Here is where you shift it right back onto a gear piece you want. So say you got a nice piece of body armor. Let's just see one that I have not recalibrated yet. So here, I have this cherished chest piece. It's a nice piece of body armor, but you know what? I have crit damage on it, or I have health on it, and I would prefer headshot damage on it. You can go ahead and slot in headshot damage. I'm not going to do that because I haven't exactly determined what this chest piece is good for yet, but you just slot that in. Now, once you slot something in, it means that is the only thing you can recalibrate from now on forward. So as you can see, this chest piece I put in Obliterate. I can't recalibrate my weapon damage, crit damage, or crit chance anymore. So that's the other thing to keep in mind when you're recalibrating. You can only recalibrate one slot. The other thing, you cannot recalibrate a perfect piece of gear or weapons, perfect talent or role. So I can't recalibrate perfect trauma because that is the caveat of the chest piece, just as I can't go ahead and recalibrate the White Deaths. Okay, I can't show it because I already did this, but you can't recalibrate. I won't be able to recalibrate headshot damage because it's the perfect part of the White Death. That's the caveat of the weapon. That is recalibration. Now, you've recalibrated something, like I recalibrated my White Death right over here, or my White Death. Wait, my White Death is full. Sorry. So I haven't recalibrated the darkness, but say I did, there is still an open bar, which I can't recalibrate because I already recalibrated something. That is where optimization comes in. In optimization, you simply take a weapon that does not have a full roll. Let's do the relic. As you can see, it does not have a full roll here. You can use your different resources and just upgrade the bar. Once you've optimized something, that is the other time you can no longer recalibrate it. So if something has been optimized, there's no way to recalibrate it. Do I have... I don't know if I have something that I can show. White Death, I already recalibrated. It doesn't seem like I have anything that I can show you what I mean. But once you've optimized a gear piece, so once it has this little circle thingy, it means you can no longer recalibrate that specific attribute or core attribute. That is the recalibration side and the optimization side. Then we get into expertise. Now, expertise is end game. This is, you've built your build, you've optimized it, it's everything's max roll. Now you want to get your build just up to that, that just a little next bump. How expertising works is, you see I have all my gear already has a star with a shield. That means I am proficient with it, but I have not leveled it yet. My White Death, that I so much like to use as an example, as you can see, it has a 4 on it that I have expertise. You need to be proficient with a weapon first before you can expertise it, and you can only expertise it as high as your proficiency level goes. Now, your proficiency level or your expertise level is this level right here. That is dependent on how many weapons / gear sets and you have proficient. So gear is split into their own thing, aside from named items. Named items can be found here with exotics, your chill out mask, nightwalker mask, improvised mask. It's all different named items that you need to get proficient. How proficiency works is playing with something gives you XP onto that gear piece, and if you've gained enough XP, you'll become proficient. So there is 10 levels, 1 to 10. Named items and exotic items, I do believe, I can't remember, but I do think one piece of gear donated to it gives you 1 level. That's the other thing. Sorry, I need to say you can donate gear as well. So you can donate gear to it to expertise it faster. So if you have a Night Watcher mask and you want to become proficient with it, you can donate other Night Watcher masks. You can't donate any other brand mask. So you can't donate a Punch Drunk to get your Night Watcher expertise, and vice versa. So you can donate the same gear piece, or you can donate resources. I don't recommend donating resources unless it is something that you don't have and you don't know if you can get it. So some of the Dark Zone exotics, like the Hollow Man, I did not have it. I shoved a bunch of resources into it and got it proficient that way. Once you're proficient with it, once you have proficiency with it, you can then go ahead and do I have this little bee on me? Yeah, I do. You can then go ahead and say you want to upgrade it, and you'll use resources to upgrade it. Now, coming February, early February, we are getting Project Resolve, which is an update, and they are lowering the prices or the cost requirements by a lot. That's why I'm waiting for it to get all this upgraded, because now it doesn't seem that insane. The higher you get, you'll have to start donating exotic components, and that gets very expensive very, very fast. The best way I found to leveling. Now, this is the way I did it. You can do it a different way. I would equip 1 piece of gear in each slot that I was not proficient with. So I'd run with striker knee pads, I'd run with hot shot, and I would run with ongoing directive. So I would just make sure that everything I was running, the 3 weapons, the 6 pieces of clothing, my 2 skills, and my Specialization, I was not proficient with it. I then go to Summit, run Summit on Heroic with matchmake for Summit on Heroic, run with 3 other people, and just essentially get carried all the way through. That's how I did it. You can equip 6 of the same gear piece that'll have it level faster, so you can equip 6 hotshot, and then since you're gaining XP per piece, but it's gaining towards the brand, you level faster that way. But this is to each their own. Just know, playing with gear pieces gives XP, donating gear pieces of the same gives XP, and then finally donating resources gives XP. Now, expertise, when you upgrade expertise, you get 1% per level. So my White Death is level 4, I get 4% extra weapon damage. Armor, you get 1% additional armor per, like, armor on each set. Now, before you go ahead and freak out, I did at the start, I didn't understand it correctly. This does not influence your blue cores. Your blue core, any blue core gear piece, gives you armor. That's why I thought it influenced it, because it gives you percentage armor. That's not the case, sadly. It influences this little number up here. So the 131,000, you can gain up to currently 24% additional armor of that type. Same with a mask. If you look at the mask, it has 80,000 armor, so you can only get around, I think, 15,000 additional armor. No, not even. But yeah, it's 24% of that number. So upgrading your gear, not really worth it currently, because like I said, it does get expensive. Weapons, however, 24% extra weapon damage, considering a red core gives you 15%. That actually essentially it is the same thing. So you're gaining almost 2 red cores if you have a maxed out weapon. Just, yeah, it's interesting. And it gets very stupid very quickly. Oh yeah, so we talked about how to reroll and everything. However, you have exotics. Now, for the most part, exotics are pretty much set in stone. If there has been a few exotics that you can re-roll some of their attributes. Now, gear pieces are set in stone. Can't re-roll anything on that. You can re-roll it to get a better roll. So if you have your crit chance, crit damage that's like halfway or below half, you can spend resources to re-roll it here in the crafting station. We look at weapons, and we'll go down to exotics, and we'll use my Dread Edict. I have one. So as you can see, we have all the resources necessary. You go ahead, select it, go ahead, select it again, and then you have to hold X to craft. Now, the Dread Edict, as you can see, its rolls are I mean, it's not insane, but it's not bad. So once you re-roll it, hold craft. Holding craft destroys your weapon and recrafts it into another one. So you don't have 2 Dread Edicts now. It just destroyed the weapon and replaced it. And as you can see, I was incredibly lucky on this one. I almost have full rolls now. So that's something that you can do if you don't have full rolls. There are a few weapons, I'm not exactly sure all of them, but I do know the Ouroboros and the St. Elmo's have different attributes that they can get depending on the role. Now, these can't be replaced currently, but in Project Resolve, early February, they said you will be able to re-roll the attributes, not the core attributes, just the attributes of the weapons in the game, or of the exotic weapons, which is very fun and very awesome. Because frankly, an eagle bear with crit damage or damage to targets out of cover just sounds glorious. Yeah, that's how you re-roll your exotics to get better, your bar is fuller. You can also optimize them, but if they are incredibly low, it's just better to. It's probably just better to re-roll them and get them all the way full. Yeah, that's the recalibration station in crafting. So if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.